Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I listened with great interest to my honourable colleague. The fact is, this government was found guilty of willful and reckless discrimination against First Nation children in the broken child welfare system. This government has gone back to court. They spent about $15 million fighting Cindy Blackstock and the children. This is not reconciliation. The opportunity to get this right is before us, but it needs the government to stop putting the threat of the money being taken off the table, sit down and negotiate, make sure that we put the interests of children first, have a timeline that is reasonable. By the end of March is not going to make this thing work. We have to end the discrimination. It has to be done right. I'm asking if this government is willing to call off the lawyers, sit down and negotiate with the First Nation experts to make sure that we get a plan in place that leaves no child behind in this country.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of International Trade, Export Promotion, Small and Business and Economic Development.
I thank the member for that question, and I obviously note his advocacy on behalf of Indigenous communities in his riding and generally in Canada. It's an important question. I think with respect to the litigation, what I would simply say is that obviously any discrimination, whether it's in the child welfare system or not, is something that needs to be rooted out in this country. I think the litigation itself had various aspects to it. It sort of went through various permutations and combinations, so to speak. But what I'm very pleased about is about the final settlement that was reached, which is a historic settlement in Canada of $40 billion, $20 billion of which went to the litigants and $20 billion went to communities for the entrenchment of programs that would seek to avoid and ever having a repetition of that kind of discrimination within the child welfare system. As to the specific question about the timing of resolving the payment allocation, I do not have that information to hand, but again, as I mentioned to the Bloc MP, I'm more than happy to follow up on that going forward. Merci beaucoup.
Order. It's my